This video, we're going to take a look at managing stormwater assets and inspections and pretty much everything related to the annual MS4 permit, preparing for that, and doing the inspections throughout the year. What I want to focus on first is using the desktop view, showing you how you can manage assets, look at the map, and log inspections. Then we'll jump into the mobile so you can see that, and then we'll wrap up with some of the other things related to the MS4 ordinances and plans and things like that, as well as goals, MCM related goals. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so when I'll log in, I'm going to click on Assets, and ShareNet can handle pretty much any kind of asset, anything in public works or utilities or any kind of asset really. And you can segment those assets out by these things called list views, and you can easily make different list views here for different types of assets. Here I've got a stormwater specific one that I want to focus on, and I've imported some pipes from a GIS file and kind of put those as a layer on the map. We'll show you that. Then there's some other specific assets that are in specific locations. You can track sweeper zones and do sweeper schedules and tons collected. But let's just jump into the map. This little view here is just of those particular assets we were looking at. And if we zoom in a little bit closer, you'll see here we have a storm drain inlet, a baffle box, and then an outfall. And then between those, we have a pipe segment, and we've got the ability to add a inspection or work order against that pipe segment, or open it up and go in there. But for now, let's just say we're going to go to this guy. On the desktop view, you can right mouse click and add a new request. We'll just call this inspection, and then we'll, just for reporting purposes, we'll flag it as a category of inspection. Notice it picked up the lat long and the address of the actual asset. And there could be other fields. We've got field management where you can easily add additional fields, where, let's say, this had been cleaned out of a catch basin or something like that. In this case, we're just inspecting an outfall. Everything looks good. We're going to close that. You can have different outcomes. But let's go ahead and do save and close. And then so now, in a matter of just a minute, we've documented an inspection of that particular outfall. Notice over here, you can also put in, let's say, facilities that need inspection. So this is an inspection site, and then you can have inspection schedules. Maybe you need to go out there every year, or certain sites maybe more frequently. And basically, you've got different icons and colors you can set for different asset types. By the way, back on here, I didn't show this earlier, but let's say you just want to edit an asset. You can edit it. You've got different fields. You might have BMPs that you can define and have different fields for that, the build date, etc. You can have attachments, pictures. Like I said earlier, you can have scheduled maintenance, preventative maintenance schedules that can be set up, and then here would be all the maintenance history or inspections would be listed here. And then on request, this would show at a high level, and this is looking at all stormwater, but we could again have any other department. It could be trees or general work orders for anything, fleet, facilities. But these are all your list of work orders, and you can have, this is looking at all of the stormwater ones. You can have them open, closed, etc. All right, so let's jump into the mobile real quick. Okay, now this is the view of the smartphone. So I can tap here to go to the menu, tap Assets, got the same kind of list view capability. We can go to Search, it toggles, you can go back and forth. All right, so let's then do that same type of thing we were doing earlier on the mobile device. So we'll tap on Map, then we can see our assets, and let's go to another one. And we can tap on the, actually, let's say we need to do a repair on this particular pipe segment. You can click this and do Add Request, and we'll say Pipe Repair. And then we'll select Stormwater Repair for the category, for reporting, and we'll leave this other bit of information alone, and then we'll say close. One thing I didn't mention earlier, but you've got the ability to add parts. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's go in here, and I need to save this record first. So if I want to add parts and labor, I could come in here, or equipment. Let's say we need to have a backhoe. We'll do a backhoe, and let's say we use that for 1 hour. Save and close, and then the concrete pipe, one of those. And you can have multiple locations where you're keeping track of inventory. So this is a stocked item. It's called a stocked, or a stock part. All right, save and close. And if you want to add labor hours, just type my name, or this guy, John Smith, and then he worked an hour. And then now, in a matter of seconds, we added the labor cost, equipment cost, and the parts cost to this work order. Save and close. Now we're done. Let's jump back to the desktop view and look at some other things. So if you need a spot to keep track of ordinances or part of your management program, a lot of times that'll be in a Word document, but what you also need to be keeping track of are things like, when it was adopted, the next re-examination date, when it's going to be reviewed, maybe if it's an ordinance, the type of ordinance it is, how that's enforced. And then you could attach the document actually here and have that readily available. But this allows you to see things at a glance real quick. And then if we look at goals, so we can use the task app to track goals. So let's open this one up. This is related to MCM1, Public Education and Outreach. Edit that goal. We have the goal year, goal term, the MCM. It's related to the progress, key takeaways, the date of the event, attendance, etc. And then at the end of the year, or the reporting period, you could run a report, something like this, that basically takes all those tasks and groups them by MCM, lists the goal, the event date, etc., and print that out or save it to PDF and send that off. So let's jump to the dashboard. So if we go to the dashboard, so on the dashboard, I'm going to click Stormwater here, and then I'm going to set my date filters. So let's say I want to look at maybe April 1 last year through March 31 this year for my reporting period. So I set the date period, and then it looks at all of the inspection records based on the completed date, when it was completed. And then we've got something like this here. So this is showing the work orders. So if I mouse over, this pink section is baffle box logs for those. If I go here, sweeper logs, we had 6 of those. And then this is the count of work orders by asset type. So there's outfalls. For all work orders or inspections, you've got these totals: linear feet, sediment inches clean, miles swept. And if we pull this up a little bit, you can see what this is. But we can click on a bar chart. So now this is limiting to the month. And then here, if I go to the sweeper log or sweeper zone, now it's showing all of my sweeping activities in that time period, the miles swept, and then the total miles right here. So you can easily get to these kind of totals for your annual permit reporting.